what would it look like if Jesus was at the center of our community? Now, I'm going to go on out a limb and say that our community would look a lot different than what it does right now. Am I right or am I right? Right? And how sad to see what's happening in so many of our communities around our nation right now. Now listen, this is kind of a sermon within the sermon. Hear me on this. Church, there is only one race, and it's the human race. The ideas of race and racism, these are sinful, godless human philosophies, and they have nothing to do with God or His Word. Now, you say, well, Pastor Tim, does the Bible have anything to say about race? Well, I am glad you asked. Because it does. Now, write this down, because it's not going to be up on the screen. Acts chapter 17, verses 26 to 28. Acts 17, verses 26 to 28. Now, listen to this as I'm reading it. For from one man, God made all the nations. Did you hear that? From one man, God made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and He marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek Him and perhaps reach out for Him and find Him, though He is not far from any one of us. For in Him we live and move and have our being, as some of your own poets have said, we are His offspring. So there is one race, not many. We are all descended from the same earthly parents who were created in the image of God. Now you say, well, then why do we have different skin colors? Well, the answer to that is easy. It's called genetics and DNA. We have different skin colors for the same reason we have different color hair and different color eyes. That's why. So to separate races according to skin color is as silly as saying that we're going to start having different races based on our eye color. Right? And can I have everybody with brown eyes please move to the back right now, because I'm a blue-eyed person. So we have all these different skin colors and different languages and unique cultures that all together make life one colorful, beautiful mosaic. And this is how God meant it to be. But in the end, we are all the same family. Come on, that needs a little more than that. Yeah. Now, you say, but Pastor Tim, not everybody thinks the way we Christians think. Have you noticed that? No, they don't. So what are we to do with that? Because clearly we can't control people's thinking. Right? You can't even hope to change someone's thinking. I don't know if I've ever been able to do that. And by the way, has anybody else ever noticed what an effective tool Facebook is in changing someone's mind? Have you noticed that? So I don't know if I really can change anybody's mind. I do know this. I know that Jesus can change anybody's heart. So my hope is not in us changing people's minds. My hope is in Jesus changing people's hearts. Right? So it's got to be about Him. So what is our role in all of this as a Christian in terms of societal transformation? What does that mean for us? Well, Jesus addressed that very clearly. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 13, He said this, "You are the salt of the earth. But if salt loses its saltiness, how can it be salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. According to Jesus, how do we make cultural change? We're light and we are salt. Amen? Salt is powerful because it permeates, it preserves, and it flavors. Light brings clarity, truth, color, and life. Going back to John 1, John wrote about Jesus. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. So our job, church, is to accurately and brightly reflect the light of Jesus in our community. Amen? And this is how and brightly takes place. And listen, I believe in using your voice as an agent for cultural change. But hear me clearly. It always has to come back to the person of Jesus, because without Jesus, there will really be no change. Because in the end, the problem that we have in our communities, in our world, in our nation, the problem that we have is a 3-letter problem. It's called sin. And the only true remedy for sin is Jesus. Okay? Try to change someone's mind, that's fine. Talk about truth, that's great. But in the end, church, you always got to be pointing people to Jesus. He is the one that changes people's hearts. Amen? It's always got to come back to revolving around him. And I'm not going to tell you how to be the light of Jesus, but it can look a lot of different ways. It can look like volunteering at a school. It can look like feeding people at Hawthorne Park. It can look like taking soup to a neighbor. It can even look like a peaceful protest. Peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Did you hear the word peaceful in there? Yeah, shining the light of Christ. So I'm not going to tell you how to let the light of Christ shine through your life. I'm just going to say, church, do it. Do it. Let the light of Jesus shine through your life. Yeah.